Welcome to the studio. It's Froyle here. I'm so glad you've joined me. It's week 8 of 100 days of collage, and baby, we are traveling. Recently, I was on holidays with my beautiful little treasure and we spent a day in Amsterdam. Of course, if you're in Amsterdam just for a day, you have to go and visit Vincent. It's absolutely imperative. So we went to the Krule Muller Museum. It has the second largest collection of Van Gogh paintings. And I'm telling you, it was everything I'd hoped for. I've always been a fan of Vincent van Gogh, so I had to go and see his paintings in the flesh. This is one of my bucket list experiences, and it just made me so happy. It's an absolutely beautiful museum. My daughter really liked the outdoor sculpture garden, but I was inside, cozied up with Vincent, looking as closely as I could at his beautiful paintings. So today in the studio, we're inspired by the master Vincent van Gogh, and I'm using fabulous stencils by Elizabeth and Hilaire, also some of her foam stamps. They're really a lot of fun. And we're going to be creating Gelli printing with an expressionistic style inspired by the passionate brushstrokes of Vincent. It's going to be absolutely fabulous, a little messy, but I hope you're going to join me. I'm so excited today for this Vincent theme. I have been a fan of Van Gogh's forever. Now I have this fabulous new stencil from Joggles. It's Elizabeth and Hilaire design. The Van Gogh Starry Spiral Mask is what this one's called, and I'm pretty excited to be using this today. Yay! I also have 2 foam stamps. One's called something about stars, and this one's stars and moons, but don't worry, I'll put the links in the description under the video so that you can have a look what they are and where to get them from if you want to have a play with some of Vincent's beautiful theme inspired techniques. I think we need to have a look at the mask and the stamps and see how awesome the designs are, and then we can think about how we're going to play with them. So this is the Starry stamp, and I'm going to stamp it onto my roll-off sheet so that we have got all of that beautiful golden iridescent bronze fine on another piece of paper, because you know we wouldn't want to waste it. What I love about foam stamps is they're so easy and they're so quick. I like quick and I like easy. Look how good that looks. Loving that. That's going to be a fabulous collage paper with something else on it later. So down goes the Starry Spirally mask. I think that's what it's called. And I'm going to put it on a piece of black paper or cardstock just to see how those 2 beautiful designs print. And then we'll have a play and we'll get a little tricky, probably throw some paint around. Who knows where we're going to end up because we're playing with Vincent. Sometimes when you're using cardstock, it can be a lot harder to get into the areas around the masks and insides, especially when they're swirly spirals like this. Sometimes it's hard because the cardstock is a little thicker, but you know, we'll give it our best and see how we go. Looks pretty beautiful. Look at that. What a great print. So you can see the glorious stamping of the foam stamp there with the little twinkling stars in the background and the fabulous spirals. I'm loving that. That's just the golden iridescent bronze onto black cardstock. Fabulous. Right, so I'm just going to let the beautiful bronze dry a little bit more, and then I'm going to pull this print. So I'm thinking, seeing as we've got a beautiful starry night sky, let's go with some phthalo blue to pull up the beautiful shapes. with our beautiful Starry spirals. Oh yes! And the fabulous phthalo blue with the iridescent bronze. Fine, just loving it. Look how beautiful that looks. Oh, Vincent. So I'm going to have a play with a few more prints and with the beautiful spirals and the foam stamps, and then we're going to do some fabulous painterly effects. Vincent did rather love yellow. He said it made him feel happy. So I'm pretty sure we need to do some beautiful yellow gold on these sparkling twinkling stars and have a little play with some beautiful warm tones. Now, don't get stressed out if your sparkling twinkly stars are all smudgy, because have you actually looked up close at Vincent's twinkling stars? They're really just a blob of white and another blob of yellow in the middle. So, you know, you definitely don't have to stress out when you're printing with Vincent's inspiration, because his paintings up close look absolutely amazing. They're just dashes and dabs and chunky bits of color, and they look absolutely incredible. Look how beautiful the yellow gold looks on the black paper. Yes, loving that. I'm gonna pull this gold off the plate, but then I'm gonna have another plate with some moon and stars with some beautiful gold and a little dash of white. There's our lovely yellow gold. Now we're going to put another layer over this, absolutely for sure, and it is really a whole lot of fun. Now I didn't wipe my plate. It still has some yellow gold, but let's not worry about that. I want to put some white over the beautiful sparkling stars stamp on the black, because I think that'll look really cool. So same stamp, didn't wash it, and let's go right over the top of our beautiful sparkling stars with some white, because seriously, have a look up close with Vincent's paintings and you'll see that they're dashes and dabs and splashes of paint, and it's pretty much why nobody liked him. He wasn't painting like everybody else. Are you feeling it? Are you feeling it? If nobody's liking your stuff, then you're in good company. Unfortunately, Vincent's not around to know how incredibly famous he is now and how many millions of dollars his paintings can sell for, because hello, he only sold one in his lifetime, and he actually thought that he hadn't achieved his goals, which is really sad because he did. Look at that. That looks fabulous. I'm loving it. This is just the white onto, oops, smudged it. Oopsies. Oopsies. Now this happens when you're in a bit of a printing frenzy. It tends to spread everywhere. Don't forget, you need to be putting your stamps into water in between. My bathroom is just one step that way, which works fabulous for this studio. And in between using these stamps, I just stick them into the basin that I have sitting in the bathroom there. I have a nice little basin that holds the stamps while they're waiting to get used again. Look at that. That actually turned out better than I thought it would. Yeah, I know I got smudgy there because I kept printing because I wanted to. But what about if we put some gold over that? Oh, yeah. All right, let's try it. Oh, let's put the other stamp over it. Okay. Do we want the yellow gold or do we want the bronze? I'm feeling the yellow gold because Vincent loved yellow. So let's get a whole heap on there so I can get a nice juicy stamp. Pretty much using my gel plate as a stamp pad, and that's working well. Yay, so now we have the moon and stars. Let's put it straight on top of twinkling stars. It's all very starry. Oh yeah, that looks good. Loving it. Move the paper around. And of course, it's all going to make fabulous collage paper. Absolutely beautiful. Now, Vincent was a little obsessive with his artwork. He didn't really have great social etiquette. Nobody really liked him, and he was a complete workaholic. But, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. What do you mean I can relate? I can totally relate to that. Is there anything else other than art? I don't know so much. Maybe that's why I love him so much, is because it's so relatable. Look at that. That's really fun. I'm loving the yellow gold over the whitish, grayish color of the first print. So I'm going to print all of that beautiful yellow gold. And yes, I'll be adding another layer on top of that. Fabulous. That looks beautiful. I think what I love most about Vincent's paintings is his absolute freedom of expression. Oh man, I want to try some copper. What about some copper? That could look quite amazing. We could put some copper stamp over that. Yes, okay. You see what happens? What do you mean I'm obsessive? See what happens once I start printing? It's just one idea leads to the next idea, and away we go. Oh, loving that. Look at that color. That's the beautiful golden iridescent copper, and we're putting that straight on the fabulous yellow gold that we just printed because it looks awesome. With our beautiful twinkling stars and our moons. Look at that. Loving it. Maybe he's so entirely famous because of his relatability. I mean, he didn't have any successful exhibitions when he was alive, and it was only his sister-in-law who brought his paintings to notoriety after his death. So, you know, if you've had some exhibitions that haven't worked out, you're in good company. That looks pretty cool. It's a really nice color. Yes, I did print myself into rather a frenzy. But look how beautiful these prints are. They turned out absolutely glorious, both with the mask and the stamps. I had so much fun with both of them. Now, if your print doesn't work the first time with the first layer, just go over it again. I had so much fun putting another layer on the prints or adding some more stamping to them. Just don't give up. And if you're using harmonious colors, like I'm using a whole selection of blues with white, I've just gone on layer upon layer and they've turned out absolutely beautiful. Now, the thing is that I absolutely love about Vincent is his incredible brush strokes. And it really was a bucket list moment to stand in front of his glorious painting and have a look up close with his brushwork. Absolutely amazing. I loved it so much. So I'm thinking we need to, you know, have a little bit of a creative expression and get a little bit expressionistic with these prints, because that's who Vincent was and that's how he liked to paint. And that is what I absolutely love about his style. He's so expressionistic. He stuck true to who he was. He continuously learned and grew from each of his styles that he developed, seasons that he went through, and he went through quite a lot. He was a continuous learner. He didn't start by painting the Starry Night. Hello, he started with drawings, he did portraits, he did landscapes, he did so many different styles and always developed himself. He always stayed true to what he believed in the pursuit of his own creative expression, much to everybody else's disgust. But he knew who he was and he knew what he wanted to achieve. Right, so I've painted that on there like that. The next thing I'm going to do is pull off the fabulous mask. Look at all that glorious paint. Oh, I just love it. I'm going to put it on a piece of paper over to the side here where, yes, that's going to take another print, but we're quickly going to grab some of that black cardstock and pull this just right straight onto the black cardstock while the paint is still wet. Now let's see how that looks. Oh yeah, baby, that is just a whole lot of fun. Look at that glorious, painterly, expressionistic, Van Gogh inspired print. Now, this is going to dry on my plate and I'm going to pull this. Oh, what about we pull it with bronze? Man, that'll look good. Or copper. Yeah, something dramatic. So while this dries, I want to tell you about my brand new class on Skillshare, because you have to keep learning. This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of classes and members in hundreds of countries. Anything that you need to increase your skills, maybe in business, maybe personal development, perhaps you want to learn how to make incredible artworks, you can find classes on Skillshare. I'm both a teacher and a student on Skillshare. Having just taken the step, leaving my old job behind and becoming a full-time artist, I depend even more on upscaling my knowledge with online learning, especially in areas of marketing and tech. I've taken classes on how to build your YouTube channel, how to develop your social media marketing, how to take better photos with your iPhone. Skillshare is helping me to learn what I need to know to increase my art business, and there's really a lot to learn. Skillshare is easy to use, and what I love about this platform is the one inclusive membership price. I have 11 classes on Skillshare and you can watch one of them, 5 of them, all of them for the same price of one subscription fee. It's absolute value for money. That's what I love about it. The first 1,000 people to click on the link will receive the first month free. And baby, you can't get more affordable than free. So click on the link in the description and come and join me on Skillshare, because there is so much more to experience. I don't really know if it's entirely dry because it's not a great drying day here in beautiful New Zealand. It's very overcast, it's rainy, but you know, I'm not good at waiting. So I'm hoping that it's dry enough to pull the print. I decided to go with a powder blue, so all the beautiful blues and purple tones will be sitting on the top looking nice and glorious. And I guess we'll see in a minute if that was actually a good idea or not. We'll use a piece of glassine to pull the print up and we'll see how we go. It might have been a little too wet still because, yes, I'm not greatly patient. Righto, let's see how much we actually got to pull off the plate and how much will still be there because it's wet. Oh, there's all the wet bits still left on there, but we could pull that again. Oh man, that's absolutely beautiful. Look at that. I'm loving that. See, you've got outlines of the print here because the paint's still wet and stuck to the plate. But that's a really interesting pattern. I'm loving that. Right, so according to Vincent, the stars have yellow dots in the middle and white splashes around them. So we're going with some beautiful yellow gold for our middle stars. And then we'll add some white around them. I'm going to do another beautiful painting print because I really love it. I just think it looks fabulous. I know it takes forever to dry, but maybe this time I'll be more patient. Well, we can only hope, right? We can all live in delusion. So I'm putting the dashes around the fabulous starry centers, and then we'll add some blue around that. Whatever Vincent did, he did it with absolute gusto with everything he had. Before he started painting, he was actually a missionary, and he didn't separate himself like the other clergy did. He got basically into the dirt, down and dirty with the miners, and became one of the people. He gave them everything he had, literally gave them everything. And that really kind of offended the church, because they didn't want their pastors to really become one of their parishioners. They wanted them to be separate and more refined, and Vincent really wasn't a separate, refined kind of a person. So when they kicked him out from the church, he started to draw. And once he threw himself into painting, of course he became absolutely obsessed with getting it right, with doing a good job. I mean, he did try and get a real job at one stage, selling prints in one of his uncle's fine art galleries, but it didn't really work for him, because he didn't believe that the people were buying the right prints. He wanted to debate the qualities of art, and he felt that the general public didn't have a clue on what was important. So yes, he didn't last so long in that job, because as a salesperson he was rather lousy. His letters are absolutely fascinating to read. The letters that he wrote mostly to his brother Theo. That's how we know so much of what he thought and felt, and so much of his life, because of the letters he wrote. And it truly was Theo's wife, after both of their deaths, who brought Vincent's paintings to prominence. In fact, if it wasn't for her, they wouldn't even have been noticed or looked at. They definitely wouldn't have been given any notoriety. And it was 50 years after his death before really people started to realize the incredible vision that Vincent had, which is quite sad, really. Because what's the point? Once you're dead, who cares if you become famous? You're dead. That's what I think anyway. I think that's a bit rather sad. He wanted to develop an artist community. That didn't work out. He wanted to make prints because he wanted the average ordinary person to be able to afford art, which, hello, you can now get a Vincent painting printed onto anything. You can wear it, sleep under it, cover it on top of your tables, your beds. You can look at it, you can light it. There's everything that you can possibly think of has a Van Gogh print on it. So all of his visions and dreams and what he wanted to achieve did actually happen, but it was a long time after his death. He is now pretty much one of the most famous painters of contemporary art, which is, I think, sad for him. Now, that's a whole lot of fun going on there. I know, right? It's a bit thick. But I've got his fabulous twinkling stars with dobs and dashes, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to pull off my mask, if I can find it, under all of that glorious paint. Yes, I will be putting this mask straight down onto a piece of paper to capture all of that glorious paint. And even that print will look amazing. Then I'm going to start with the black cardstock, and we'll go from there. Basically, if you want to be inspired by Vincent, you need to cut your own path, paint with absolute gusto, give it everything you've got, and don't give up. Keep learning, keep growing, and keep developing. Keep trying different styles. Don't listen to the critics, and don't wait until you're dead before you show someone how awesome you are. Oh man, loving that. Yay, Vincent, look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. My starry night sky. I'm just loving it. Right, so that's left on the plate. Yes, I'm going to wait for that to dry mostly, and then I'm going to pull that print and see how that looks, and then I'll probably have another ghost print under that. But that is just a whole lot of fun. Give it a go. Don't be scared about putting thick paint on your gel plate. It dries eventually. You gotta love Vincent, he's awesome. So which one of these fabulous Van Gogh inspired prints do you like the best? I'm loving all of them. Well, I absolutely love the stamps. They're really easy to use, and the mask has got such great shapes. So try them out, and you can use them as standard masks or stencils and stamps, or you can get really creative, go a little wild, and add some painterly effects to your gel plate. It's so much fun, and the results can be absolutely amazing. Thanks for joining me today. I had so much fun. Vincent is the artist that I have always personally connected to, loved, admired, and standing in front of his beautiful paintings, looking at those glorious brushstrokes, really was a fulfillment of a bucket list moment. You'll find all the information for the fabulous stencils and stamps in the description under the video. Also, there's the link there for the free month on Skillshare, so come and have a look at the classes there. And I'm also leaving you with 100 days of collage playlist in case you missed any of the episodes. Here's the video from last week. It was so much fun creating the stained glass. And that one's inspired by the glorious trips to Barcelona. So join me again next week as I take you somewhere else in this fabulous travel theme.